Hey, Mark, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, excited to have you on. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, I'm Mark Brookland. I'm the owner of SEO Locale. We're a full service digital marketing agency, but our focus, our specialty is search engine optimization.
Okay, cool. And how'd you get started in the agency? Starting an agency.
Uh, Starting an agency, yeah. So I knew once I got my first job in SEO, I kind of knew. I mean, I really loved it, and I knew that I wanted to have my own agency one day. It's where I met my partner, and we would always, every day during lunch, we talk about like one day we're gonna do it. Um, so I kind of got stuck in this role where I couldn't really learn everything about digital marketing that I wanted to learn. I was kind of stuck in my SEO role. Um, so once I left that company and I went in house for a cabinet company where I was a team of one. So I was in charge of all the paid search, social media, website management, all the SEO work, and that was my test for myself to say like, yes, you can do this for anyone. Um, so it went really well. We had a lot of success. I did that for a year. Um, and then uh, that's when I guess soft opened SEO Locale.
Mhm.
I had like 3 clients, maybe summer of 2015. But it wasn't really serious. I was still working full time. I took another job in house somewhere. And then I worked there for another year and they pivoted. They laid everyone off. I was deciding like, all right, do I try to do SEO Locale full time? Do I get another full time position? Um, and about a week after laying me off, they called me and they asked me if I would do SEO for them on like a contractor basis instead of being a full time employee. And so I said, absolutely. And that's kind of what happened
Cool.
that's when I decided to go into it full time.
Awesome. And, you've been doing it for a while. What has been some things that have contributed to your guys' growth? I mean, you guys are a multi-million-dollar agency. Obviously, you don't start that way. Most people don't. You're right. Like we start really small and then we grow
Yeah.
over time. So, what's been some of the factors that have contributed to you guys' growth?
Yeah. It's kind of feels like that there were some a couple of different milestones where things just exploded or things started really quickly. The first one, when I first started SEO Locale, I decided I was going to do it. It was summer 2017. Again, I had like 3 or 4 clients. I spent my first month doing nothing but cold calling businesses. Um, and I brought on 17 clients from that. Um, so I don't know what you would call that. I guess you would call it like relentless,
Yeah.
um,
So,
relentless.
what was your message to them? How did you get through the gatekeeper? How did you? Well, first, how did you decide who you were going to call? I think that's the most important.
So we created a scraper where we could go on Facebook and we could get a business's name, phone number, email, all of that kind of information. And then I would go through that list, see who I thought made the most sense. And then I would pick up the phone, call them and say, like, hey, I don't know what you're doing for your marketing, but I see a lot of areas you can improve at. If you're interested, I could send you a report or we could talk about it. Um, and that was pretty much what I did. And I know 17 sounds like a lot, and it is, but I mean, seriously, I must have called tens of thousands of companies in that
Yeah.
first month. It was really horrible. Um,
Did
so
you have in
yeah,
the? Did you have in your mind? Because a lot of people are scared of calling or banging on doors, and one of after I started the agency, and I was most people don't know this. I think I was maybe 4 months into the agency because I was building the business on referrals. I was like, man, I need to learn sales. I know nothing about sales. I went to take a job selling telecom, which was door to door. So in
Mhm.
Atlanta, I would go, office to office going, hey, do you want to buy a T1 line?
Mhm.
And it just taught me, like, I'm looking for the no's. I want the quick no.
Yeah.
Like I almost had it as a game. I would with my other colleagues on that job I did for like 3 months. I was like, let's see who can get kicked out of this building the fastest. Like it teaches you so much just picking
Yeah.
up a phone or banging on doors. I wish
Yeah.
everybody would
I
do that.
mean, you can't be afraid of it. And I mean, I don't I don't really see a way around doing that because SEO takes time to really pick up. I mean, you could go a paid search route, but you still need the money to put up for it.
Yep.
So I mean, unless maybe you're already well off and you have a bunch of money saved up you could spend on it, or you have some kind of backing. I didn't know any other way to do it other than that.
Yep.
Um, and
Well,
so that's
I like that. So let me ask you this. Do you guys still do the outbound calls?
absolutely not. I haven't
You're
haven't gone
breaking my heart, dude.
I haven't gone anywhere near it since literally the first month that I started SEO Locale.
What does
I've
do
never
you
ever.
have someone in your agency that does it?
No, no, we don't do any calls. We don't do any outbound calls. We have done like cold emails where we generate an email list and we would blast out emails that way. But I mean, the time and effort that went into it for the success rate, it's really not even worth it anymore. So we don't even do that anymore.
Okay. So how are you guys generating leads now?
Great question. Funny thing how SEO works. It's our number one lead generator by a mile. And then after that, would be referrals and um, word of mouth.
Okay. Man, you're breaking my heart. I thought you'd be like, yeah, we're still knocking on doors and right? Like, because I always
No,
tell everybody and everyone listening, the first part is referrals aren't scalable, right? Like because you'll keep getting the same type of clients or under.
right.
Um,
Mhm.
and we were an agency where we were really good at SEO for ourselves. So we were highly ranked in the markets that we wanted. But we also realized was, man, we're playing a dangerous game because if Google or any of these search engines change, especially with AI, whatever it is, we're fucked.
Yeah.
And so, we were kind of balancing on a one-legged stool because I'm not going to count referrals. I was like, how can I build another part of that stool? One was outbound, another was strategic partnerships, not for referral partners, but like literally going, who is going after my audience
Yeah.
and really attacking. And I tell people too, I'm like, look, like I would tell you too, like you guys should look at this. If you could do like use AI, use your scraping tools,
Yep.
and then use AI on top of that to get the list even smaller for you to have someone to call. And then because no one calls anymore, right?
Mhm.
And everything's some bullshit blind email or LinkedIn outreach that has no business being in my email. But if you get specific and Jason, hey, dude, I checked out your website. Did you know you had all these duplicate pages? Or did you know I'm going to date myself on SEO? You probably weren't even out of school then. But did you know you had Atlanta web design as your keyword 100 times as the same color as the background?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
hurting you.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was when I first started. That was when that was like, hey, you can't do that anymore.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I'd
Yeah.
be like, I think I was like one of the first to do it. And I'm like, damn, this worked. Like,
Well, yeah, everyone SEO, it's so funny to me how easy SEO used to be and
mhm,
how not easy it is today.
yeah,
I mean, you could just go out and get 10,000 backlinks. You have more backlinks than the other guy, you're going to rank first.
yeah,
That's it, you know? Um, is it's pretty crazy how far it's come.
yeah. What's your guys' biggest challenge in the agency right now?
I think that one of our biggest challenges is making sure that we're scaling the right way. And what I mean by that is hiring the right people. So hiring is definitely difficult. We don't my partner didn't go to college. I mean, frankly, he barely graduated high school. And he'll be the first one to tell you, like, school wasn't for me. Like, I knew what I was interested in. I liked computers. I liked designing and developing. That's all I wanted to learn about. And he self-taught himself.
Yep.
For me, I'm on the other side. High school, college. I did some additional secondary certifications and stuff like that. I think education is great. But as long as it makes sense for what you want to do. So when we get people applying, I don't necessarily care what their resume says. I'm much more interested in meeting who they are, like, as a person. Are you going to fit culturally? Do I get a sense of drive from that person? Do I get the sense that they really want to put their head down, learn, and be the best that they can be? Those are the kinds of people that I want to hire. And a resume you don't really get that information from a resume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
So
sometimes that makes us lose, and sometimes we win big. It's certainly a risk when.
yeah, when I'm hiring, I'm always looking for, like you said, culture first. Is their core values aligned with ours? And I'm not asking, are you resourceful? Like, I'm asking questions like, how are you resourceful? Or
Yeah.
I'll put mousetraps. Like, in the interview process, I'll be like, I'll send them a broken link, and I want to see when they tell me when is it broken. Is it the night before they were supposed to get me something?
Right.
And they're like, okay, so you procrastinate. That's not really what we need. Or, hey, you don't pay attention to direction, so I'm not going to hire you as a project manager. Like, it's a number of different things like that. Do you ever use any recruiting firms, or how do you find your best talent?
No, we've never used any kind of recruiters or headhunters or anything like that. Everything that we've done has been through, like Indeed, organic, like LinkedIn and social media posts. I have a pretty large network, so I always tap into them and say, look, I'm hiring for this kind of position.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone you have, send them my way. I'll get some candidates that way. So it's kind of a mixed bag, but Indeed has probably been the top source.
How much time do you spend going through, or your team goes through, all those Yahoos on Indeed?
It's become a lot easier to get through them. Honestly, just for doing it for so long, but I've never felt like it's been that bad. I don't think I've ever.
Like, when you post a job on Indeed, how many applications do you get?
Oh, I mean, we get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of
And you go through them? You go through all of them?
Define go through them.
Well, you look at it and be like, yes, no on each one?
No, I mean, because a lot of the times on Indeed, like, you'll get the email come in and it'll tell you, like, oh, this person applied, and it'll tell you, like, oh, they're based out of India. Well, we're not hiring someone from India, so automatically delete that. That's got to be like at least half of the submissions that you get.
Yeah. Yeah, I find with any of those job postings, I find people just go submit. They don't even read the title, or they see marketing in it. So I'm like, who are these bunch of jackasses that can't read? So I'm like, I'm going to really screw with them, and I'm going to give you something, and everyone listening, to save you hundreds of hours a year, or maybe hundreds and hundreds. I don't go through Indeed at all. I post on Indeed and LinkedIn, and at the bottom of the job description, I say, do not apply here. You have to email me, and you have to email me
That's not
a
bad.
less than 3-minute video of why you want to work for us. And in the subject line, you must put, I actually read your instructions. So I never look at Indeed. I post one time. So if you apply in Indeed, you're a jackass and you didn't read the instructions. Then if you email me and you go, here's my resume, here's my cover letter, you're deleted, because I ignore any email that doesn't have the subject line. So then the next part is I look for a video. If you posted a video over 3 minutes, you're deleted. And I'm not being a jackass. My time is very valuable, and so is my time, and my people's time. And so what it does is, and I looked at this last time I posted, I had 400 applications on Indeed.
Yeah.
10 people actually followed the instructions for the email subject line. And
Yeah.
out of those, 4 people sent videos.
Right.
So
Yeah,
now,
that's good. That's good.
right now, I only spent, and the people that did the videos right, I think it was like 3. So now I only spent 6 minutes to go through 400 applications.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's good. I'm probably stealing that.
Yeah, you should, because it gets rid of all these idiots. And then, I posted a video about this, and I got a lot of backlash from the jackasses that are probably applying. They're like, well, why do you got to make it so hard to get a job? I'm like, well, do you really want the job?
Yeah. Yeah, everyone, it's always a problem, and I'm
Yeah,
certain that anyone who has that complaint is
yeah.
because they
I'm
didn't
like,
follow the
you're
directions.
definitely going to be a really shitty ass employee later on. So I don't know. That's just for anybody listening. We talked about this on previous episodes, but it's always a good reminder, because once you get to a certain point, it's kind of like this agency hamster wheel, right? Like, you get to a place where you sell more, and then your team gets stressed, and then you as owners take, you as owners step in to help, but then you hire new hires, right? And then you get right, and you're always on this cycle, and then you get the new hires, and then you don't have as much work, and then on this hamster wheel. And so it's always hard to find the right people. But if you do this, I guarantee you'll find the right people, and you'll spend less time weeding through the crowd.
Yeah, no, I really like that.
Cool. Awesome. Well, Mark, thanks so much for, coming on the show. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would benefit the listeners listening in for growing and scaling their agency?
One thing that I would say is I truly believe that one thing that has helped me grow my agency is the relationship that I build with my clients. And I believe that one of the strongest ways I've been able to do that has been being transparent about the work that I'm doing. I've found, especially from clients who leave one agency or leave one person, whatever, and come over here, one of the biggest complaints that they say is, I never had any idea what they were doing. Or I would ask them something, they would ignore me, stuff like that. And I feel like my guess is that a lot of people in our industry are afraid to explain to clients what they're doing on a monthly basis for whatever reason. They might not be doing anything at all. They might be worried that they're going to try to do it themselves. Whatever the case might be, but what I found, and I think that has really helped us, is the more that you can communicate and help educate the client, the more they'll trust you, the more they'll get along with you, and the longer that they're going to want to ultimately stay with you. And that's how you scale, is by retention.
Yeah, I mean, when we would go in and have an initial conversation with a prospect, my whole goal was to educate them on a framework of how we're going to get what they want. And they would have to understand it. So it'd have to be outside of my geek terminology. Like I'd have to brand. So, like, for example, we designed a lot of websites over the years. And I'd say, look, most agencies are going to ask you which websites you like, which is basically saying they're unoriginal. They're going to rip off everybody else. And that's why your whole competition looks the same. What we do is we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to go through a document and questionnaire that we actually had a psychiatrist go through in order to figure out what you need, because a lot of times people will know what they want after they see it. And a lot of agencies start with 3 concepts at a time. We start with 1. 25% of the time we'll nail it down perfect. 50% of the time, a couple little tweaks. The other quarter will be totally off the mark. So then we know exactly what to avoid on the round 2. And I just explained to them the process. And they're like, okay, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
right. And then they're like, as long as they understand it, then they're like, okay, I see this. I see the path to success.
Right.
But too many agencies, like you were saying, they try to keep that secret sauce. Like clients want to know how to do it, but they don't want to do it.
Right. Yeah. 100%. And they're always, I love like when people ask me, like, what is your secret sauce? And my response is, there isn't really a secret sauce. I mean, everyone has the same information.
Yeah.
There's things that you're supposed to do. There's things you're not supposed to do. We try to do all the things that we're supposed to do as best as we feel that they should be done. You want to read, Maz's 101, be my guest. Here's the 300-page document. You can have a blast. I never, I totally agree. As long as they understand, they see it, and you set the right expectations, then they know what's coming.
Well, you know what the secret sauce is the people, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
like, for example, we've been running our mastermind for 8 years now for agency owners. And we've seen a lot of people, they'll run an agency, they'll be in our mastermind, they'll be like, man, I should run a mastermind. I'm going to close down my agency. I'm going to go run a mastermind. And they think because they have exactly what we're doing, they're going to be successful.
Right.
But they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Because the secret sauce is in the people and the people that we put in. And the people just don't understand that. They think they can just copy exactly what you're doing as an agency or, what we're doing, and they're going to get the same result. I'm like, like there's so much other ingredients that go into it. And I always tell everybody too, looking for that silver bullet. I'm like, you're full of shit if you're looking for a silver bullet.
Yeah.
Because no one has it. But what you can do is you can create your own silver bullet from looking from the silver from you, Mark, of what you said, a silver from maybe a little part of what I said, and maybe from another episode. And then you build it over time and you're like, ooh, like this cake actually tastes really good versus like the cake I would, cook it, like, oh, can't, my dog wouldn't even eat it. My dog licks his butt.
Yeah, 100%, man. I agree with you. You're dead right. It's all about the people that you have. 100%.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. If you guys like this episode, make sure you like and subscribe. And also too, I actually put out free advanced training for you guys for free. If you go to swank.it, that's SWENK.it, you can go to the free training page and have access to the perfect offer, how to get more leads, better clients, as well as how to build your agency with the right systems in order to be able to sell your agency one day if you want. So make sure you go to swank.it. And until next time, have a swank day. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you want more content like this, make sure you click on the link on the screen or check out your most popular podcast platform where the full episode is there. And until next time, have a swank day. What are you doing? Go check it out. Click on the link. I'll see you soon.